If you change your own oil on your F-150, you need one of these. Let me show you what it is and how to install it.
This is what's called a Fumoto valve. Now we're going to install this in place of our drain plug on our oil pan. So this is where it screws in. So we're just going to take the old drain plug out. We're going to screw this one in, and it's got a valve on here. Now the first thing to notice is this is a lock. This is a little plastic clip which acts as a lock. So you can see that there's a ball valve inside of there. And what I can do is, it's not easy to do this, but we open up the valve and now you can see right through that valve. So this is going to be our drain valve for oil changes. And what we can also do is put some plastic tubing off of here. You know, the trick with oil changes is always to try to get that drain plug out with your fingers without splashing hot oil all over yourself. And as you guys know, with an F-150, it can drop from quite a height, so you get a lot of splash, and it's a pretty messy thing. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to, first of all, get some clear hose from Home Depot, and then later today we'll go ahead and install this onto my F-150 PowerBoost. Now, if you're concerned that you might lose oil, first of all, this thing is extremely solid. This is really, really well made device. Made in Japan. You guys remember when made in Japan meant that something was cheap. Now, something made in Japan means that it's very high quality, and this is. It runs about 25 bucks. I'll include the link for this valve below from Amazon. And if you want a belt and suspenders approach, you can always put a cap on the end of this as well too, past the ball valve. Now this clip is on here and it fits in here to prevent this from accidentally. And let me tell you, this is very difficult to move this valve. You got to push up and you got to pull over, and this is not something that's going to accidentally occur. I have not really heard any complaints from people that have installed these, that they've had this. So you stick this clip on here, and this is why I'm going to be doing my own oil changes, because I'm sure if I take this into the shop, the local tech is going to forget to put this clip back on here, or they're going to look at this valve and say, what on earth is this thing? But that is a Fumoto valve. So off we go to the Home Depot to go get some clear plastic tubing.
If you guys are like me, I want to spend as little time as possible inside a store, so I will always find the location of the item ahead of time in the app. Aisle 29, Bay 11, here we come. The tubing that I thought I needed was incorrect, so it helps to bring the valve with you when you shop for tubing to make a test fit. Let's get out of the store and get that valve installed. I'm removing the splash pan with those 4 8mm bolts. Now it's time to remove the 15mm drain bolt, drain the oil, and get ready to install the valve. This is always the worst part of any oil change because the oil's splashing all over the place. It's splashing off of the suspension components, and it's difficult not to get the oil all over yourself. Thread in the Fumoto valve into the oil pan by hand to begin with, and then use a 19mm open end wrench to use the body. So you've got to torque the body and not the edge of the nipple on the outside. You got to be patient because you're going to have to work it back and forth because the sway bar is in the way. It's not the most convenient thing, but eventually you'll get it tight enough. Do not over tighten it because you've got an aluminum pan and you've got a brass valve. Now it's time to test the valve. Even though there's no oil in the crankcase at this point, when I open up the valve, you can see a few drops come out, and then I shut the valve, and then the next thing I do is put the black plastic lock on the valve. The next oil change is going to be a breeze. I'm just going to fit the tubing over the end of the nipple, open up the valve, and drain straight into the drain pan. 6 quarts of 5W30 back into the truck, check for leaks, and we're ready to go. Draining the oil on the next change is going to be a breeze. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.